checking out the spoiler here. Uh-oh. That doesn't look good.
Yeah, I didn't tell William I was going to call you. William just said...
Alright. Check this old four-wheeler out here. On the Rancher. Looks like the key is missing. Gas tank is empty. Got a snorkel, looks like up here. That's not good. Some water in it. Wow, that thing is full of water. Okay. Let's see what this oil looks like, because I'm sure it has gotten down in the engine. Oh yeah, that's not good. And you can see how over full it is as well. Tires look pretty good. Alright, let's see if we can pull it out of here. It does have a winch on it. Pretty cool. It looks like this tire's a little flat, so we'll put some air in it. Alright, so I do have this little VTO man jump starter. It's also got a little air compressor on it, so let's see if it will pump this tire up. We are all loaded up. Hey guys, welcome back. So I believe this is a 2003 Honda Rancher, and it is beaten up pretty good. So I got this thing for free, and it has an interesting story behind it. So this four-wheeler was actually stolen from the previous owner that I just picked this up from. The guy was coming home from work, and he actually saw this thing driving down his street with some guy on it. Long story short, he got the four-wheeler back. The ignition was hot wired or something, I believe, or he tried to hot wire it. Oh yeah, it was hot wired. With the ignition messed up, I think he said it wouldn't start, so it just kind of sat for all those years. And right before it got stolen, they put these new tires on it, so that's kind of a shame. Looks like they are on backwards. So anyway, this thing was sitting a long time, so this thing was full of water, but it looks like water has entered through the carburetor and went into the engine. So I'm sure it seized up. I did check the oil over there, and it looks really bad. It's definitely signs of water in this engine, because it is extremely over full, and you can see that there's a lot of water in that oil. So the guy did say he put a new battery in it right before it got stolen. So, and this is disconnected, so it might be all right. I'm gonna take this thing and throw it on a charge, and we'll see if it's any good. Sure doesn't look like a new battery though. Thing's pretty messed up looking. Well, it does say it's taking a charge, so we'll see. Alright, so while that battery's chooching, let's go ahead and get some of these plastics taken off. This is what I found to be the best tool to take off these little Honda fender clips. I guess it's probably a good time to go ahead and drain this airbox. Yeah, see, it was filling up the carb right here and also going down the crankcase breather. So yeah, that engine is definitely swimming right now. Some nasty water there. Yeah, looks like we've got a bunch of bugs and all kinds of crap in there. This is a carburetor heater wire. This choke cable out. Go. Alright, let's see what this carb is looking like. Yeah, that's some pretty nasty fuel in there. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's still pretty dirty. I'm just surprised that I'm not seeing more corrosion with it having water in it like that. Figured it would be a whole lot worse. Looks like maybe non-ethanol fuel was used. Let's go ahead and see what this oil looks like. Oh yeah, lots of water. Wow. That thing is full of water. Here comes some oil. That thing looks pretty clean. Well, the top of the head looks good. Man, those are on there. And I'm afraid I'm gonna break these head studs. Rockers look good. Push rods. That bolt just broke. Yep, threads broke off in there. There's just a lot of built-up corrosion on these bolts. It's making them really hard to get them out. Well, I really thought that this engine was going to be completely full of water, but it looks like we actually lucked up on it. I'm guessing the intake valve was closed because you can see it's full of water in there. But it never got past the head, so that's good. So the cylinder looks pretty good. However, there is no cross hatching at all. It is completely smooth and glazed over. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and hone this cylinder out, throw some rings in it, and it should be fine. The piston itself looks really good. We'll see when we go ahead and get the cylinder off. So this head looks decent. I do think these valve guide seals were leaking just from the discoloring on here. Maybe there was a little bit of gases coming through here. It looks like it was burning a little bit of oil. That spark plug looks atrocious. Yeah, that thing looks probably like the original plug. The coloring's good on it though. I'm guessing the jetting was right. You know, I'm really curious how many miles this machine has on it. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and hook the battery up and see if I can get this dash to turn on. Looks like the dash is on. Headlights work. Really can't see the miles on it. I think I can barely read it out. I think it says 8,000. It might be 9,000. It's definitely got a couple thousand miles on it. 0.0 on the trip. Yeah, that's 9,524. Wow, that's something else. It's almost 10,000 miles on this four-wheeler. If you guys had a four-wheeler with more miles than that, post it in the comments. I actually used to have a four-wheeler that was really similar to this. It was an orange color and everything. I'm gonna hit the starter button, see what happens here. Piston moves. It moves really smoothly as well. So the cylinder itself isn't that bad. There's no scratches, but it is pretty glazed over. There's I don't really see much cross hatching left. I do see it down here at the bottom. So I think I can get by just honing the cylinder out. I did get some new piston rings, so I think that'll take care of it. So the piston doesn't look that bad either. I don't really see hardly any scratching on it. I mean, there's some very minor wear on it. So it's kind of hard to see down in there. It does look like there's some gunk down at the bottom where it was, I guess, sitting for a long time. So I think I'm going to go ahead and flush this engine out with some diesel. That should help clean it out pretty good. let's go ahead and get this head cleaned up here. Got a lot of buildup on it as well. Has more corrosion because that's where the water was sitting in there. So. Alright, let's go ahead and lap these valves in. See, it's all nice and smooth there. Another thing you can do is take a piece of fuel line on there, but sometimes it doesn't want to stick that well. So what you're looking for is a nice ring, clean ring around the entire valve and the seat. Ours looks good. Looks really good. Alright, we've got the cylinder and the vise here. I just like to use like a light lubricant. Actually, diesel fuel works pretty good. You don't want to use like a oil. It's too thick and it will take you forever to make any kind of progress. That should be good right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. Alright, so I picked up some new piston rings. Let's go ahead and check the end gap on it. And that looks absolutely perfect. Okay, so while we're letting that cook, let's address this broken off cylinder bolt. Alright, I got a wet towel and put a piece of plate steel here. I think we got it. All right. There we go. Thing had a lot of rust in it. Alright, so I found a bolt in my stash of Honda bolts, but it is just a hair too long. So let's go ahead and thread it, cut it off right there. Alright, so while we're waiting on that paint stripper to do its thing, let's go ahead and get this head put back together. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and get the valve seals installed. So I'm looking at these valve seals that I just installed. I went ahead and just test fit one of the valves, and like there's absolutely no resistance on that seal. So when I put the valve in here, there's like no contact on that. I don't know if you can see on camera, but like that's very loose, and that's a brand new seal. They should be tight around the valve stem. This is just a Chinese gasket kit that I got off eBay. You really got to watch out for stuff like this, because if I would have put this together like it is, the engine would have smoked like crazy. Good thing I found some valve guide seals and just some gasket kits that I had left over, and you can see with these it's a tight fit on there. See that? That's a really good fit. So I'm really happy about that I had those. So I'm gonna pop these back off and throw these in the trash. The best ones are the ones that actually have a spring around the top part. Yeah, see, that's a much better seal right there. Alright, I'm going to try a trick. See if this works. I'm going to take a glove, put put that over it, and then a socket. Let's see if that works. Oh man, it almost got it. It's right there on it. It's so close. Alright, I got it. I just had to bring it down to the ground and do it. So let's get this other one. When you do this, you gotta put something under it so that valve stays closed. Now, let me see if I can get it first try on this one. There we go. Got it that time. I thought you always want to take a hammer and just kind of hit the tops of them just to make sure they're seated good. Alright, let's see if we can get this gasket off. This has been really tough to remove. Alright, let's get these old piston rings off. There's one. There's two. Alright, so this is the old compression ring. Let's go ahead and measure it. 2.83. Now let's measure the new one. And that is 2.91. So yeah, the old one is definitely worn out a little bit. Let's get the new piston rings installed. So instead of putting the cylinder on top of the piston like that, I might do it an easier way. Here's our wrist pin. Looks to be in good shape. So I'm also checking the crankshaft for any play in it. The wrist pin slides smoothly, so I think we're good. So with right at 9,000 miles on this piston, I'm actually pretty surprised at how good of condition it's actually in. So I think it's perfectly fine to reuse this piston. I'd rather use a OEM piston than a new knockoff piston. So I found it to sometimes be easier just to install the piston first into the cylinder, and then we can just insert the wrist pin through the rod. Alright, I believe that's it. Now we can go ahead and slide our cylinder down. let's just snug these down. Seems like those valves are too tight right now. So I'll get it top dead center and then we'll adjust the valves. Let's not forget these bolts. Here's the one that we fixed. Put a little anti-seize on them. We're at top dead center. And we're going to adjust these to 0.006 inches. There we go. All right, let's change out this old filter. Got a new one here. You want to make sure you put this in the right way, because I've seen a lot of these four-wheelers get messed up by not installing the filter correctly. All right, let's put some oil in this thing. Perfect. Alright, so I picked up a new key switch and ignition since the original key is MIA. Just cut the old wires on it when they try to steal this thing. Looks like we have a bird's nest or something in here. There's a bird's nest in here. Hopefully there's no eggs. Really pack this stuff in here. Guess the birdies wanted to go on a four-wheeler ride. Alright, we can go ahead and get this battery reconnected now. I couldn't get any fuel to flow out of this tank, so let's see if this thing's clogged up. Oh. Well, yeah, that is definitely clogged up. That's no good. Let's see if we can get that cleaned out. Well, that's pretty bad in there. There went the clog. There's a 5-gallon bucket at the end of this drain, so don't worry. Oh man, look at that fuel that's coming out of there. That is really nasty. Thing is just crumbling. Go. Got a new seat for it. Alright, so I always see these gas cap lines missing on these Honda ATVs, and that will cause water to get down in your gas tank, so you want to be sure to keep these on. Alright, I think we are ready to start this thing up. Well, that thing started right up. Right now, so it's revving a little high. just the idle, it seems. Might have to adjust the carburetor just a hair. I could read that dash though a little bit better. Let's see how many hours this thing has on it. Oh, there's the hours. 1,472. That's a decent amount of hours for a four-wheeler. All right, so it's the next day. Let's see how it does on a cold start. This thing is absolutely cold. I'm not even gonna use the choke. Let's see what it does. Thing runs like a champ. Oh, never mind. Let's try it again. Still a little cold. I probably should choke it, but this thing runs pretty good. Huh, that's odd. That turns on when I turn the key off. Huh. I'll have to look into that. That's not correct. Alright, that's kind of bothering me with those tires being backwards, so let's go ahead and swap those around. Oh, sweet. This thing has a disc brake conversion on it. That is nice. So I let somebody borrow this four-wheeler. This is how I got it returned to me. All this is smashed in. You can see this fender is all smashed in. And we got a nice crack right here. So let's see if we can straighten this out. That's pretty straight, actually. Might need to pull it just a hair right there. Alright, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Yeah, it's not too shabby. Put this back. There we go. Good as new. Just go. You're good. Turn into it. You're fine. You're not gonna flip. You're good. Come on. Come on. There you go.
Oh, that probably just burned the heck out of us.
No, you're good. Good job.
That was not a good job. So sorry. I went where you went and then it stuck a hole.
That's fine. Alright guys, well I think that's going to do it for this video. This thing is running pretty good. It hasn't smoked or anything. I think the fuel filter is getting a little clogged on the fuel line, so I'll swap that out. But other than that, it's doing well. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me and going for a little four-wheeler ride, and I will see you guys on the next video. Y'all take care.